5 cold case killers reacting to getting a life sentence. So these are people who I imagine were on the run for a long time. Maybe they got to the point where they were not even on the run anymore. They'd maybe created a new identity. The case had gone cold. They felt safe, maybe lived a life for decades, finally get caught, brought to justice. And, hearing that gavel go down after realizing, man, you're never getting out must be one scary feeling.
This is Steven Lorenzo in Tampa, Florida. He was previously convicted of drug-related charges and is serving a 200-year federal sentence. But
200 years. Never getting out.
But he was also one of the lead suspects in a 2003 double murder.
We ask you to sentence Steven Lorenzo to death. A sentence of death for Mr. Lorenzo is the only appropriate sentence.
Lorenzo and an accomplice lured Jason Galehouse and Michael Wachholz back to his home after meeting at a nightclub and drugged, tortured, and killed them.
And I said, okay, let's go. We'll go back to my house, we'll party and have a good time.
Reportedly, Lorenzo and his accomplice weren't charged with the murder until 9 years later because prosecutors couldn't find enough incriminating evidence to charge them with the killings. Then Lorenzo's accomplice, Scott Swickner, took a plea deal. In exchange for pleading guilty, he was sentenced to life in prison and agreed to testify against Lorenzo. Now in court, Lorenzo decided to act as his own attorney.
This is never a good idea. You're not a lawyer. Obviously, I'm not advocating on his behalf at all, but if you can have a public defender appointed to you, why would you defend yourself in court?
Spending more than a decade playing games with the justice system, claiming his innocence, and repeatedly holding up court proceedings.
It's a death penalty case and he lost evidence, and that's important evidence, exculpatory evidence.
But nearly 20 years after the brutal murders, Lorenzo stunned the courtroom by admitting he is guilty of the 2 counts of first-degree murder.
I was there, decisions were made. People don't know this, but other people were there too. It was in my house. We made that decision. I made that decision clearly. They looked at me and they said, should we do this? And I said, let's do it.
I am going to find that Mr. Lorenzo's plea of guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder is entered into freely and voluntarily.
Then out of nowhere, Lorenzo decides to ask for the death sentence.
Wow. What, is he repenting?
Defense is saying, yes, give me the death penalty. That is absolutely great. That's exactly what I want. I'm 64 years old. I could be on death row for 10, 15 years. The comforts that they get in the death row are a lot more comfortable than it is in the federal system.
Is it? Really? If you're on death row, you get benefits? What kind of benefits do they get versus someone who's just doing life?
You get your own private cell, you get your own TV, you get your own computer, you get all this stuff.
And now we're at his sentencing, and Lorenzo has one last time to speak, and he again insists on the death sentence.
As far as I see it, it's just euthanasia. I already have a death sentence. Everybody in this room has a death sentence. The sooner that I get euthanized, as far as I'm concerned, the sooner I can fetch myself a new body and come back again.
I don't know if what you say is perhaps some form of reverse psychology, nor do I care. I will not consider what you want in issuing my sentence.
This is the moment that Lorenzo learns his fate.
Ti condanno a morte. That translates to, I sentence you, Mr. Lorenzo, to death. That is the punishment that you deserve.
Wow, so he's getting life, I suppose. So he's getting what he wanted, but the judge is making it clear that, I'm not giving you, what you requested here. It's just what you deserve.
For these horrific crimes, you shall be transferred to the Department of Corrections to await your execution.
Lorenzo appears to be happy with the outcome, and then he thanks the judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
And
appreciate it.
Mr. Lorenzo, may God have mercy on your soul.
My soul is fine. Thank you, sir.
Creepy. Mega creepy.
This is Joseph D'Angelo, also known as the Golden State Killer. He is in court in Sacramento, California, pleading guilty to a series of violent crimes as part of a plea deal that allows him to avoid the death penalty.
It's been 16,417 days since Joseph D'Angelo began his reign of terror.
D'Angelo admitted to 13 murders, 51 sexual assaults, and 120 burglaries across California.
Good grief. So this guy is a legitimate, serial killer. Oh my God.
Between 1974 and 1986, he's a former police officer who evaded justice for
He was a police officer.
over 4 decades. He often targeted individuals in suburban areas, breaking into homes and tormenting his victims for hours.
He really wanted to hurt as many people as he could.
The cases went cold until 44 years after his crime spree started, D'Angelo was finally arrested. Police tracked him down by matching his DNA left at a crime scene to profiles on a genealogy website. D'Angelo was arrested and charged, and soon after pleaded guilty.
You will receive 11 consecutive life without the possibility of parole sentences with 15 concurrent life sentences. Do you understand that as well, sir?
Yes.
Before D'Angelo receives his sentence, he speaks after he's been avoiding justice for over 40 years.
I've listened to all your statements, each one of them, and I'm truly sorry.
And now he gets sent.
He's not sorry. He's not sorry at all. I don't even think it's possible for somebody like him to be sorry. You know, like, he's got to be a psychopath. And psychopaths don't really experience like human emotions like normal people like we do. You know, I don't think he feels regret at all. If anything, it's regret for getting caught. It's just a shame that he's been able to live a long life, you know, like, it's just not fair on the victims that he's had all this time that he wasn't caught to live a normal life.
Sentenced to life in prison.
Mr. D'Angelo will spend the rest of his natural life and ultimately meet his death behind the walls of a state penitentiary.
D'Angelo just sits still and looks forward. He is reportedly being held in protective custody at the California State Prison in Corcoran.
It is my sincere hope the survivors will find some resolution, find some peace, and hopefully find some justice.
This is Brian Drips in an Idaho Falls, Idaho courtroom. Right now, as part of a plea agreement to avoid the death penalty, he is pleading guilty to sexually assaulting and fatally stabbing an 18-year-old girl in 1996.
Count 1, as set out in the information, is a charge of murder in the first degree. How do you plead?
Guilty.
So why
Honestly, these sick people, like, why do they do this? Like, why? Like, why? I don't get it. Like, why would you want to do this, you know?
did it take 25 years to catch the killer? Well, an innocent man was in prison for his crime.
No way.
This is Christopher Tapp, and he was wrongfully convicted of that crime. Tapp reportedly gave a false confession after being threatened with the death penalty. Investigators also told him he couldn't remember what he had done because he had repressed the memories of the brutal crime.
We know that Mr. Tapp was a victim of police interrogation tactics, and he gave a false confession.
Police refused to entertain Chris's claims of innocence.
That's insane. Like, how angry would you be if you knew you were innocent, but they just put you in the slammer anyway?
They used deception and false evidence. They falsely told him that he failed polygraphs, that the machine was saying that he was lying. They threatened him with the gas chamber.
Tapp was sentenced to life in prison, and for years he insisted he was innocent. But finally, 2 decades after the killing, a DNA sample from drips matched the killer, leading to his arrest. Tapp served 21 years in
21 years of his life. That is insane. That's crazy, isn't it?
Prison for a crime he did not commit. Now, with clear proof of his innocence, this is the moment he gets exonerated.
I'm thankful that I've been given this second chance of life. I've wasted 20 years of my life for something that I never did.
Mate, I'd be so angry. Angry isn't even the word. It's not even the word. Oh my.
I'm thankful that my mother will know that this last name is clean. That's the most important thing to me in this world. Thank you.
Tapp, as far as this court is concerned, we're innocent of the convictions.
Dude, sue that city for all they're worth. I know it doesn't give him the time back, but at least the rest of his life should be in luxury. I'm sorry, after what they did to him.
We've been living under for the past 20 plus years.
And now for Drips. He was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison with a chance of parole after 20 years. This is his response at the sentencing.
Why is he eligible for parole? He shouldn't get it. No chance should he get parole.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine what grief I've caused over the last 25 years.
Not even imagining if it was one of my own. I can't even imagine. Wish I could do over that night.
Tapp later sued the city of Idaho Falls and the police department. He settled that suit for $11.7 million.
Yeah. Absolutely. He deserves it.
Unfortunately, Tapp died just 4 years after he was exonerated.
No. Oh my God. What the hell? Oh man. How?
Let's do it, man.
Victory.
Victory!
What happened?
This is Kayahuru Govan. He is a murder suspect in 2 separate cold cases in Brooklyn, New York.
Kayahuru Govan is innocent. I can't even knock the false.
Back in 2004, the body of a 17-year-old girl was discovered inside 2 laundry bags in an alley.
The victim had ligature marks on her wrists and her ankles, indicating that she had been tied up and restrained. Contusions about her body, indicating that she has been severely beaten. The medical examiner determined the cause of death to be strangulation.
The case went cold until 12 years after her murder. DNA from under the victim's fingernails were retested and linked to Govan. At this time, Govan was serving a sentence in Florida prison for a robbery.
Mr. Govan's DNA was not on file until he was arrested and charged with a robbery in Florida. Once that became on file, that's why we were able to make the match.
Govan reportedly lived just 2 blocks from the teen's home at the time of the murder. He then denied knowing the victim and claimed his innocence.
I'm innocent. I've been trained not to do this. I'm sorry.
After investigators started looking into similar unsolved murders in that same neighborhood, authorities uncovered the 2005 killing of a 19-year-old male. His dismembered body was found in trash bags inside a subway tunnel. Govan was later charged with this crime as well.
It's a long time in the coming, and that we feel very confident about the evidence in this case.
Reportedly, Govan was neighbors with the second victim and knew his mother. After the killing, he even attended his funeral. Now Govan is brought into court for a hearing, but he refuses to be fingerprinted and has to be physically dragged into court.
Dude, he went to the funeral? That's crazy. That's insane.
Court.
Just because I don't want to be printed, that gives them the right to assault me, to punch me in my face. Wow. Is that what America's come to? Is that what President Trump would allow? I don't think you'll be sitting on that bench very long, Your Honor.
Govan attempts to speak out and stand as court officials push him back.
What are you talking about? Like, after what you did?
Down.
I have a right to stand. I have a right to stand in court. I have a right to stand in court. Mr. Govan. No, they don't want to. They want you to
I'm remanding you. I will see you tomorrow.
Govan continues to have an outburst.
By then you should be. By this day, that doesn't move. I can't breathe.
Govan was eventually convicted on the first girl's murder and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. At this sentencing, he only had this to say.
I would like to say, first of all, that I am sorry for the family lost in this case, but I am not the culprit. Yes, I have made mistakes before, now, later, and I probably will continue to make mistakes because I am human. That does not make me a killer.
And for the second murder, that case has not yet gone to trial.
Man, the thing is, it's like, with people being wrongly convicted, you know, his continued protest of innocence. Man, I don't know what to think here.
This is Stephanie Lazarus, a Los Angeles police detective who was just brought into court to face a capital murder charge for the killing of an ex-boyfriend's wife 23 years ago. In 1986, the body of Sherry Rasmussen was found in an apartment in Los Angeles, California. She had been beaten and shot 3 times. The Los Angeles Police Department initially considered this case a botched burglary and could not identify a suspect. The case went cold, but over the years, DNA testing got more advanced, and 23 years after the killing, investigators were able to link saliva from a bite mark on the victim's arm to Lazarus. She was then brought in for questioning.
Do you know John Rutten?
John Rutten?
Rutten.
Oh yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you guys friends? Close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about? You know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed. I mean, what's this got to do with me dating him and, you know, her getting killed? I don't have anything to do with it. And
did you ever fight with her?
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, I got a problem with that.
If we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe.
After being questioned, Lazarus was arrested and charged.
Detectives assigned to the Los Angeles Police Department's Robbery Homicide Division, Cold Case Squad, arrested Los Angeles Police Detective Stephanie Lazarus.
The case went to trial, and prosecutors argued that Lazarus's motive for the murder was jealousy over her ex's new relationship.
Crazy.
This is the moment that Lazarus will learn if she will go to prison for a murder committed over 2 decades ago.
People of the state of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen.
She appears to show little to no movement, except when she glances at the...
She did it for sure. For sure. You can just see it. She definitely did it.
Jurors.
Juror number 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 2? Yes. Juror number 3? Yes.
Lazarus was sentenced to 27 years.
Smiling as well.
Years to life in prison. And she is currently serving her time at the California Institution for Women in Chino.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people think I'm crazy and then,
Scary stuff, man. Honestly. There really are monsters walking among us. Like, it's horror. It's just horrific thinking that there's people that can do stuff like this, and just go about their day like nothing happened. It is terrifying. The guy, the Golden State Killer, 16 deaths, like countless essays. It is insane. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.